Kia ora, everyone. I'm Chester from Earth Sciences New Zealand, one of the meteorologists here at ESNZ, and we are in your feed to cover the upcoming heavy rain event and the gusty wind event that is going to impact parts of New Zealand, specifically the Upper North Island and a portion of the Upper South Island as well. We'll bring in our colleague John Law from the Metservice, because you all are in charge of the watches and warnings for Aotearoa, and a red warning has been issued for parts of the country. So, John, tell us what those warnings are. As of this recording, again, here on Wednesday afternoon, what's the latest there?
Kia ora, Chester. Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. There's plenty to talk about. We've got those heavy rainfall warnings, strong winds, even some large swells coming through. But the red warning is that rainfall warning across those eastern parts of Northland, from about Doubtful Bay down towards Whangarei, as we head through the rest of this afternoon for Wednesday afternoon, right the way through Thursday, and even in towards those early hours of Friday morning. Now, you can see on the charts that rain is feeding in from the north. So really intense bursts of rain. That line of purple you can see there on the back edge even represents some thunderstorms and some intense downpours of rain, particularly for that Thursday afternoon. So plenty to come through. Rainfall totals could be as much as 200 to 320 millimetres of rainfall, particularly around that eastern area. But you'll notice that the rest of Northland as well is pretty wet. And it's worth saying it's not just those northern parts which are going to get those heavy rain watches and warnings. We've got warnings that run right the way down towards the Coromandel, the Bay of Plenty, even down towards parts of like Taranaki, Monga, and down in the South Island as well, Tasman, Nelson, and elsewhere. But for the Northland, I think those eastern parts of Northland, Coromandel and Western Bay of Plenty, those are three areas we're keeping a really close eye on.
And there could be significant impacts too, John. You mentioned the potential for 200-300 millimeters of rain. This is some of our modeling here from NIWA, Earth Sciences New Zealand, topping out in that 200 to 250 millimeter range. But some of the modeling, some members of our New Zealand ensemble approaching 300 millimeters of rain for parts of Northland, and certainly eclipsing 100, 150 to 200 Coromandel down through the Bay of Plenty. And not to forget that portion of Tasman up towards the Able Tasman area. But also we have the wind, the potential wind. So we've got rain impacts and wind impacts. You want to talk briefly about the wind?
Yeah, like you say, that's a huge amount of rainfall to come through, but it's the wind as well, that combination of wind and rain. As this system comes in towards us, it's all tied in with the low pressure that's moved across New Zealand from the subtropics. That brings the warmth, the humidity, but you can see it swirling away on the charts there, and that really intensifies those winds. Now, particularly for places like Northland, Auckland, those exposed coastal locations in the east, we could well find gusts of 90 to 120 kilometres an hour in those exposed areas as we head through the end of the day today, but into Thursday more than anything else. But you notice that those strong winds, those even gale force winds, run down towards parts of the Coromandel again. The Kaimai Range, a classic spot for some really strong winds at the base of the Coromandel there, down in towards Waikato. And even if we head a little bit further south, down towards parts of inland, central North Island, South Taranaki and Wanganui, those areas, again, on the lee of the mountains, really see those winds picking up. So, yeah, a really windy story for many of us on Thursday. And if we head down towards the likes of Banks Peninsula, by the time we head through Thursday afternoon and Friday, these strong northerlies you can see running across the peninsula, which sticks out there too. It's all going to be a pretty unsettled end to the week. A far cry from what we saw at the start of the week. The start of the week, gorgeous, blue sky, sunshine. Yeah. But what a difference. I think it's going to be a really impactful few days. Multiple hazards, multiple days. Yeah, there's plenty happening over the next couple of days or so.
Right. Yeah, we got big concerns for potential surface flooding. In the red warning area we have up there in Northland, it stretches from Doubtless Bay all the way down to the Whangarei area. But places like State Highway 1, State Highway 10, we'll have to watch for potential impacts along those state highways and the Russell, up into the Russell area, Kaikoui, down through Kerikeri and the Bay of Islands. There's a lot of places where we could see flooding, slips, etc. Anything else that you think that people should be concerned about, even all the way down through the Bay of Plenty and Coromandel region?
I think that's exactly it. So these red warnings are warnings that we reserve for the most impactful of weather events. So this is only our third of the year. It's actually quite a lot we've seen so far, but really it's a kind of a heads up to act now, to kind of really keep up to date with the information. This is the kind of rain, like you said, that can cause flooding, make some really difficult driving conditions, potentially cut off some of those more isolated communities. So it's a real concern for us and something to really watch out for. Couple that with the winds, which could cause damage to trees and power lines as well. Just bear in mind there could be, some power outages to watch out for as well. Keep up to date with the information, not just from the watches and warnings, but from your local civil defence teams and your emergency management. So the people on the ground who've got all the latest information. So really worth keeping up to date with those. And, be aware that the weather is running through. It's going to be with us for a few days, particularly for Northland. And places like the Coromandel, bear plenty. Although they're currently on an orange warning, we've actually got a high chance that those may be upgraded to red as well. So we're going to keep updating the forecast as we get more information, more observations, but also more runs of the computer models as well. And we'll give you all the latest updates as we head through the next few days.
I think that's a good point. I want to leave you with that for those who are watching this video, again, we recorded this Wednesday afternoon, but another update to the watches and warnings could occur really any time, but really that key time period would be sometime on Thursday morning. So you want to watch your feeds, stay with local media, get on the Metservice website for sure, get the latest on the app as well, where you can get the watches, warnings, and the latest rainfall totals and information. John, thank you for joining us here this afternoon. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jessica. Thanks very much.
All right, so switching gears, I want to show you all our New Zealand ensemble. This is the model that has 18 variations of the same model, gives you 18 different outcomes. What we do is we're able to use that to create or calculate percentages of something or the odds of something happening. So for example, this particular screen here shows the accumulated rain over the next 5 days. And we've got the middle scenario, which is that 50th percentile. And then we've got the drier scenario, that 10th percentile on the left side of your screen. And then the 90th percentile, which is here on the right side of your screen. So I'm going to run through it. And this, again, goes all the way through Monday morning. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the clock early on Saturday morning to capture this entire event of this ex-tropical cyclone, this tropical low that's moving south into the country. And again, in every single scenario, even in the dry scenario, you can see on the very left side of your screen there, the New Zealand ensemble is putting down upwards of 200 millimeters of rain across portions of Northland. And some pretty hefty rain totals across parts of the Coromandel and Western Bay of Plenty as well. In the wetter scenario, the numbers exceed 200 millimeters very easily there. Northland, Coromandel, Western Bay of Plenty, especially about the ranges, and then even portions of the Tasman area. So again, this is going to be a pretty hefty rain event for those areas where the Metservice has issued those watches and warnings, those orange and red warnings that are in place as of the recording of this video here again on Wednesday afternoon. So a lot to watch in the days to come. We will pop into your feed as necessary for more and future updates. And again, the Metservice will have updates to the warnings and watches for both rain and wind over the next several days. So you want to check in on their website, their app. And again, thank you for joining us. I'm Chester for Earth Sciences New Zealand. Stay safe out there and have a great day.